citizens should not have stuff done to us by people who have convinced us that their funny terminology and fancy buildings don't suit us. I often see groups of school children and tourists from all over the world walking around the areas of the Palace of Westminster. They look awestruck. A building so steeped in history, so palatial in its size and sense of duty, it crushes you. When I first started working there, I would always choose routes across the estate that took me through the most magnificent expanses, and I used to get neckache from gawping up at the splendour. If I'd known then what I know now, I would have been looking out for falling masonry. I do love the place, really love it, and I feel a sense of pride in being able to scuttle around this grand labyrinthine institution. I want people to be amazed and inspired by all of the history. I just don't want anyone to be crushed or excluded by its pomposity, because as well as being beautiful and grand, it is also just my office, and I want everyone to feel as if it's theirs too. I am often asked why I got involved in politics. To be completely honest, I don't really have a definitive answer. The truth lies somewhere in between the different versions of the story that I tell each time I am asked. They are as follows. 1. I wanted to change the world. This is undoubtedly true, but it makes me sound a bit like a contestant in Miss World. We have all become very cynical about the idea that politicians actually do the job in order to improve things, and that is a real shame. I would say that 90% of MPs genuinely want to make the world a better place. Yes, even the one you absolutely despise and don't agree with at all. 10% definitely don't give a toss about the world, but played toy soldiers as children and have a perverse sense of how bloody exceptional they are and, quite frankly, are convinced that they were born to rule. I imagine that their parents held them aloft on the edge of a great canyon and said, "One day, my little prince, all this will be yours." There has never been a better example of this than Alexander Boris de Pfeffel Johnson, who, had he been called Carl Thompson and grown up in a 1930 semi in Wigan, would not have got where he has. Make no mistake, he doesn't want to change the world. He just wants to rule it. So one day, he might get a statue. It's just that we all have a different idea of how to achieve this. For example, I don't think that starving children through withdrawing family benefits encourages people to go to work and help themselves. Just because someone took away your benefits doesn't mean there is suddenly a cushy job waiting for you, one that you are qualified for, that you can get to, and that works around your childcare. Many of my Conservative colleagues do think that, and it's not because they hate the poor. They genuinely think that being tougher on low-income families will help them. Changing the world for the better looks different to everyone, but it is what most politicians do want to achieve. Some are just really shit at it. 2. I saw that decisions were being made by people who knew naff all about the lives of the people I was working with at Black Country Women's Aid. So I thought I'd better become one of the people who made the decisions. It is commonly said in politics, it's nothing personal, it's just politics. Well, that, my friend, is utter bullshit. Yes, politics is rough and tumble. Yes, you have to grow a thick skin. But the idea that it is not personal is only ever espoused by people who have never needed political decisions to change their lives. Tell it to the people living in bombed-out Aleppo who have lost their loved ones and their home. Soz guys, nothing personal. When hard-working single mothers hear politicians spouting on about how children from single-parent families are lower achievers, it probably feels pretty personal. Politics is personal. It was personal to the women who lived in the refuge where I worked, to those who watched the defunding of the children's rape counselling services, and to those who couldn't get a place in a refuge so were left living in fear. It certainly felt very personal to me, so I decided to take it on, personally. 3. I have always been involved in politics. I was raised under Thatcher's government by socialist activist parents and grandparents. I was holding a banner before I could feed myself, and I suspect that in certain lights you can still see the Ban the Bomb face paint that was scrawled on my face on a daily basis as a child before I was squeezed into a buggy intended for 2 children, but always accommodating at least 4, and pushed around some march or another. Westminster might have seemed inaccessible, but politics never did. Politics is...
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.